Hi, good afternoon. This is Neil with Simpler Futures, and today is Monday, February the 6th. Starting off the second week of February after last week was a very, very busy week with the Fed announcement and a number of high-profile earnings announcement along with the payroll report at the end of the week on Friday. So what we've got here is we find ourselves the second week of the month where that obviously puts us a week in front of the options expiration. A lot of times we look for a little bit of retracement pullback during this week in front of an options expiration. It's commonly referred to quite often as the pit bull low or a pit bull pullback. Reference is to Marty Schwartz, the pit bull. You can find the book on Amazon. It's a couple dollars on paperback. It's a good read, fun read. And anyway, the observation was made by him some years back. And so we won't be surprised to see that kind of thing. Today, to start off the week, we got next to nothing, really. The day was a total wash. We, come in a little lower, then a little higher around the open. That is a little lower, a little higher, and then settles right on the middle. That is very common for a Monday following a non-farm payroll. In fact, late last week on Friday, I made a kind of a warning, an announcement to folks in the room. I was like, be prepared for Monday to be the day where you probably rather be shopping or something than actually trading, because it's just that kind of price action on average on a Monday, that is, following non-farm payroll. So nothing today, and I don't make anything of that because that's very normal. The price action around back here on this Wednesday last week, the price action around the Fed here basically centers really like 40.70. The news release, the FOMC announcement was right at about a 70 trade. It broke small for 50 and bid back to recheck the earlier high at 90. Before then taking off, having one pause at 41.10 and then settling up here at 30, which is a very important price. That goes back to the 1st of December of 22. You'll see the turning point right there at about 41.30. So that was your Wednesday. Then we get a little follow through on Thursday to make a new high, and since then Friday, lower high, right? So we got one follow through Thursday for a follow through high, and then a lower high on Friday to settle back in here today with really a bunch of nothing but sideways. Here's my point here. Look at the way that it traded off of how fast, how quickly it traded up off of the announcement here from about 70 all through 90 quickly all the way up into that pause at 41.10 before then, like I said, settling 30, right? So that makes all these prices important. You've got the 30 settle on that day was important. If you can get through there, then you check 10, get through there. Auto check. My next thing is it would check down at 90 and 70. So that's what I'm looking for. This week being a pullback week, often, right? And it's having some real thin trade, like singles on the run up. The rapid rate of trade and acceleration through those prices leaves this very thinly and poorly auctioned, which can very well stand for some back and fill type trade to fill in the thin spots on this profile. As you can see, back and fill, just kind of fatten that up, fill it in a bit. And in order to accomplish that, I could see it very easily making sense that it trades back down here and finds this 80 point of control naked from that Wednesday and 70 the newsprint. And that just really, honestly, I can see that pretty easily. Like that's Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back and check all the way back to 50, in all honesty. But I'm certainly looking for it to come back in and check at least this newsprint back here to fill in this thin spot on the profile there, back down to like 70. Anything below that, it ought to trade back into 50 in my estimation. But I am looking for another way to say that would be, my anticipation would be to on the thinness of this profile and the way this traded up rapidly, that comes back and fills in. 1, 2 on timing, the second week of the month, the week in front of the expiration, where we, thanks to Marty Schwartz, the pit bull, and the pit bull dubbed pit bull low, that we often do get that kind of a pullback retracement type price action into especially the latter part of the week, this week, where then we just resume with the normal course of trade, which would be higher next week. But we got to worry about this week, right? I'll worry about next week. This week, we got to worry about this week. So this week, I'm looking for sideways to lower, pull back into, fill this in, and down into 70, maybe even a little lower, but down into back to revisit the kind of the news print from Wednesday on the FOMC announcement, the rate decision. And then after that pullback, then start the resumption of the bid back up from there. That means long from lower. Okay, so first pullback, then long from lower. And I'll have in mind that unless we just get this really bad wrong, I'll have in mind that we'll be looking at long next week into the OPEX. But that's next week. We got to worry about this week first, right? So that's what we're here for right now, is take note of some of these prices. The dead low back here of the big, the move higher was at 40.30. From there, you got the news swing low, 50. You got the news pivot, 70. That was the print on the news. You got the news initial swing volatility. It was 50 by 90. 90 traded up very quickly, took a pause at 10 before settling 30. And above... Well, okay, and then one more. Last week's point of control, 41.50. Above there, the bears are going to have a really hard time holding on to anything, pullback, even small, kind of pullback stuff. Above that 41.50, the bears are just going to really, really, really have a hard time. But to reach up and touch off on that could easily fail. I would actually anticipate that it would reach up and just touch off on that, fail, and trade down into these prices that I'm giving you. And that would be to monitor these prices on the way down. 41.30 trades 10, 10 trades 90, 90 is to 70, 70 was the news volatility swing low 50, and 50 below that goes all the way to the bottom of the launch down here at 40.30, right? So reasonably in this retracement, I can see back to the newsprint 70. Makes sense to me. And that can bounce around in here for a bit and fill this in. See how thin this is? It's like anemic. There's nothing, you got all kinds of participation out here at these other prices and just really thin in the middle. So that's gonna get filled in. And that's what I'm looking for. So hopefully this helps you. Good trade, nice evening. Be with you again at the next update.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me